Good morning, Stampers. Happy Friday. Welcome to this week's Facebook Live. Today I'm going to share a fun paper tearing technique featuring the Joyful Flurries bundle from the July to December mini catalog. But before we get started, I just want to thank everyone for commenting and sharing last week's video where I shared how to get an embossed look in any of our ink colors. You can always go back and watch that replay. You can find it both on either on my Facebook page or on my YouTube page. And I entered everybody's name in, and Shirley Nickerson is the winner of this card. So I will pop that in the mail for you, Shirley. Thank you so much for watching. All right. Okay. All right, now today we are going to use the Joyful Flurry bundle, which I love snowflakes. Every year when they come out with a new snowflake set, I always buy it because, I mean, you can't go wrong with snowflakes, right? And I'm going to combine it with this beautiful specialty vellum, also from the July to December mini catalog. Good morning, Shirley, you're welcome. Good morning, Kim. Welcome, welcome. So this vellum is, like I said, a specialty vellum. So there's three patterns that are kind of an iridescent foil pattern. You can see that there's some like little dots or snowflakes, and then some patterned snowflakes. These ones are a little bit more solid, and then these ones are a little bit more detailed. And then there are the same three patterns in a flocked finish. So it's got this beautiful, there's so much texture in this vellum, it's crazy. Good morning, Karen. So again, we've got the more detailed snowflakes, we've got just the circle type snowflakes, and then we've got more solid snowflakes. You can see that I've used lots of this one. Love that one. So today we are going to use this pattern here. Now, if you would like some ideas on how to use this vellum, I do have an upcoming class. It's called the Wintry Christmas Card Class. And these are the 4 cards that we're creating, all featuring different ideas to use with the vellum. And all you need is a greeting set in order to do it. It is an in-person class, however you can get it to go. I've used the Brightest Glow greeting set from the July to December mini catalog, but you can use any holiday greeting set. All right, registration for that closes on October 31st, and you can always head to my events link to find more information on that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me just pop some of this stuff aside so I have a little bit more room. Okay, so like I said, we're going to do a kind of a fun paper tearing technique to reveal that beautiful vellum underneath. So what I've got is I've got a piece of, actually, you know what, before we do that, we're gonna do some stamping on here and a little bit of splattering. So I've got a piece of white cardstock that measures 4 by 5 1/4. I have actually 2 pieces because one is going to be for the inside, and we are going to stamp. We're going to stamp this image, and we're going to use some Starry Sky ink. My favorite color combination right now seems to be Starry Sky, Fresh Freesia, and Orchid Oasis. I don't know, there's something about those 3 colors together that I absolutely love. Okay, we're going to stamp this kind of in the corner. Just like that. And then we're going to repeat and just do a couple like that. So we're just going to stamp the corner in that. That's going to be the front. And then we might as well do the inside and the envelope while we have our stamp out. So now I'm going to take that same image and I'm going to stamp down the side. Kind of staggering them a little bit. Let's do one more right here. Okay, so that'll be for the inside. And then we can do our envelope as well, so that we have an envelope to match. And this time I'm going to do it along the bottom. I actually don't think I introduced myself at the beginning of this video. I often forget to do that. So for anybody who is new to my channel and has not watched my videos before, my name is Sherry Roth. I'm from Sherwood Park, Alberta. And every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time, I go live with a crafty project. So I'm happy to be here today with you. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our front piece, and we're going to take our dark Starry Sky Stampin' Blend, and we're going to do a little bit of splattering. So, and to do this, I like to use the brush tip of my Stampin' Blend and a bone folder, and I just give it a little bit of a tap, and it gives me this fun, really fine splatter. And we're going to do that again with some Wink of Stella, but I want to do the technique first before I splatter with the Wink of Stella, just because it's going to take a couple minutes for that Wink of Stella to dry, so we can work on something else, and I don't want to smear it. Okay, so now for the technique, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the piece of cardstock sideways, and I'm going to hold, I don't know, maybe about an inch up, maybe an inch and a quarter, and I'm going to tear towards me. And you can go as far down as you would like. Let's go to about there. And then I'm going to hold this bit that I've just torn, and this time, actually I'm going to hold with my right hand this time, and I'm going to tear towards me. Okay, so by doing it that way, I've got the same finish. Okay, so if you look here, you've got that rough edge here, and you've got that rough edge here, and then if you look here, that's not, you don't see the fibers on the inside. Okay, and we want that similar look because we're going to remove some of this and curl some of it back. All right, now we're gonna, like I said, curl it back, but we don't need all of this. If we were to use all of it, it would create quite a bit of bulk. As it is, it's going to create a fair bit of bulk. So I'm just going to trim off about this much, and you know what, now that I see this, I'm going to tear just a little bit further down. Okay, so it's going to look like this, which doesn't look, it doesn't look like anything special right now, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to take just a really fine paintbrush, and I'm going to start to roll. So that little bit that I tore, I'm going to roll up to the end of that. Okay, so it looks like that. Now I'm going to unroll it, and I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive all the way down. And then I'm going to try to roll it as tight as I can, just because you want, it is going to be bulky, but you want to minimize that bulk as much as you can. So this might be a card that you give to somebody and hand deliver it. Look at that, isn't that fun? So you hand deliver it, or if you're going to pop it in the mail, just know that you will likely have to pay for extra postage to send it off. Okay, so now that we've got that part of the technique done, we're going to splatter with our Wink of Stella. So this little piece that I've got here, I don't want to splatter on this piece, so I'm just going to kind of position that over top. And then I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did with my blend. Now this will be a lot more subtle. It'll just add a little bit of sparkle, and I'll bring it up closer so that you guys can maybe see. The other thing that you can do is you can squeeze your Wink of Stella to get, there we go. If you want to have some bigger blobs. Okay. All right, so now you should be able to see that. So there's some fine, we can take this piece off. There's some fine sparkle there, and then there's some bigger sparkle bits. I love splattering with Wink of Stella. It's so pretty. All right, we're going to set that aside, let it dry, and we'll get this out of the way. Okay, now we can toss that. All right, now we're going to do a little bit of stamping and some die cutting. So I've got just a scrap piece of white. I'm going to take the Happy Christmas from the Joyful Flurry stamp set and my Orchid Oasis ink. Stamp this down on here and we're going to die cut it. And I forgot to grab my mini machine, so let me just reach that. Okay, so we can use the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss for this. We'll grab the plates. All right. So now from the dies, I'm going to take this, let's make sure this is in camera here, this narrow label shape, and I am going to use a little bit of washi tape just to hold it in place. And our top cutting mat. And feed that through. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Sue. Sue says she never would have thought to splatter with Wink of Stella. It is so beautiful. Adding that little bit of sparkle. Okay, so we've got our greeting. Just take this die off of here, put it back on my magnetic sheet so I don't lose it. And then we're going to take, I think these are both the same size. Yeah, they're the same size. Okay, we're going to take one of these smallest snowflakes, and I've got a little scrap of some silver foil. We're going to cut one of these out. Good morning, Gail. Okay, and let's pick this off of here. So we've got our snowflake. Okay, I think we're done with this. We can set this aside. All right, now for the other pieces that we need to get ready, I've got a piece or a spool of the Orchid Oasis metallic woven ribbon, and we're going to tie a bow with this. I actually really love how thin this ribbon is because it doesn't add, you can tie a nice bow and it doesn't add bulk to your projects. Okay. All right, so we've got those pieces and let's see how we're doing here. Okay, this is probably still a little bit damp. Now, what I've got here is a piece of that beautiful specialty foil vellum, so the one with the iridescent foil on it, and it's going to slide down here, or underneath here. Now, what we're going to do is, let's figure out how much. We're not going to measure here. We'll just cut this off right about here. And then I'm going to put a strip of adhesive here, just because I don't want to flip this over. First of all, I don't want to flatten this. And second of all, my Wink of Stella is still a little bit damp. So now what I'm doing is I'm lining up the edge of that vellum with the edge of my cardstock. Just going to give that a little push where that adhesive is. It's a little floppy right now, but that's okay. When we stick it to our card base, we'll be able to stick it down. Okay, so let's bring in our card base. It's going to be a piece of Orchid Oasis, just a standard size card base. Let's add our inside layer first. Just doing whatever I can to just give that a little bit more time to set. So I'll add this to the inside. So if you think about this idea, the kind of this torn paper strip reveal kind of thing, you want to choose a pattern that, well, something pretty to reveal underneath, right? But what you can do is, if you don't want to use pattern paper, you can create your own kind of scene in behind as well. I've seen some gorgeous examples using like some sunset backgrounds and some silhouette stamped images in front, so that torn edge kind of reveals that in behind. So you could really play around and get creative with that background bit. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my multi-purpose glue, and we'll use this to adhere it just so that I don't have to turn it over and flatten anything. And here we'll add a little bit of adhesive to that vellum as well, just to make sure that that sticks. And then this is going to go on our card front with about 1/8 of an inch border. Isn't that pretty? Okay. So now we can go ahead and start to embellish. So we're going to start with our snowflake. And I'm just going to use a mini glue dot and adhere it right in the center here. And then we'll pop our snowflake on. And then we'll use another mini glue dot to adhere our bow. Again, just pop that right in the center. And our bow is going to go out at an angle. And then we can use some mini glue dot or mini dimensionals to adhere this. So I'll do one on either side just because the knot of our bow is going to sit in the middle. And this is going to go across like this. Okay, so there's our focal point, or a little cluster. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be our focal point, because this could be our focal point. Okay, and then I want to finish it off with a combination of things. So I'm going to use some of this sequins, and this is the blue one, but I'm going to pick out the shimmery ones from it, and I'm also going to combine that with some of the in color dots here. So I'll use my take your pick tool to pull out the specific pieces that I want. So I want some of the glimmer sequence that's in here. So we'll pick out maybe 2 or 3 of these. Can't go wrong with anything shimmery. Let's do 3 of those. And then there are some half back pearls in here, flat back pearls in here. So I'm going to pull out some of these. And we don't want a blue sequence. Here we go. So we'll do one of those. Okay, so we've got a couple of those, and then we're going to take some of these as well. Let's just cover this over so I don't spill it. And we'll bring in our multi-purpose glue. Add a little dot of the glue. Let's stick these down. So does anybody have any fun plans for the weekend? Oh, I had a sequence stuck to the back of that. Got a silver sequence on there. Let's see if we can stick this over top. Okay, and then this one. I think we are going to go see, well, we talked about it. Go see that new Julia Roberts movie. George Clooney and Julia Roberts. It looks so funny. Okay, and then we're going to take some of these. So I'm going to use the Orchid Oasis ones, and I want 3 of them, and I would like them all in the same shade. So I only have 3 of the darkest ones. So we'll go ahead and choose those and add these on here. For another little pop of color. It looks cute, doesn't it, Shauna? Yeah, it looks like it's going to be funny. All right, and there we go. Our card is done. So we tore the paper to kind of reveal this beautiful specialty vellum in behind, and then we've got our coordinating inside and our coordinating envelope. And I wanted to share another one that I did. Now, this one that I'm going to share with you is the first one that I did, and then I said to myself, I really like it, and it was the card that I was going to demonstrate today. However, the whole point of this technique is to reveal whatever is behind here. And this, I ended up covering everything over, so I thought, well, that kind of defeats the purpose. But I do still really like this card, so I wanted to share it. So I did do the paper tearing technique, and I revealed like the little candy cane DSP in behind, but I then covered it all over with my focal point. So I mean, that's just another way that you can do that technique. So you can still have that torn look, you can still have that kind of scroll there, but then do like a bigger embellishment cluster over top. So I wanted to show you the two different versions so that you can pick and choose. Maybe you'd like to do one of each. And I think it just depends on what your pattern paper is. Like this, you really don't want to cover over too much of that pattern paper. It's just so pretty. Whereas this is just some simple candy cane paper. So it's not that big of a deal. But I love the whole, the scroll, like the little torn bit with the scroll here. I think that adds a lot to it. All right, so that is it for today. So just a reminder that the deadline is coming up for that wintry card class if you want to register for that. Deadline is also coming up for my in-person sweet candy crop coming up in November. Just a reminder that we still have the Starter Kit Plus promotion on, where you can purchase the starter kit and choose $206 worth of product instead of $165, and only pay $135 and no shipping on top of that. So it's a fabulous deal if you're thinking about joining Stampin' Up! Or becoming a demonstrator. I'd love to have you as part of my team, and if you have any questions, just reach out and ask. I'm happy to answer them. And lastly, I just want you guys to have a fabulous weekend, and hopefully you get a chance to get crafty at some point this weekend. All right, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.